What you train your mind to see, you end up seeing more of. What you train your mind to think, you end up thinking more of. We are going to, in this episode, reset and retrain your mental algorithm so that it perfectly aligns with the things that you want to manifest into your life and watch the magic happen. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. If you're watching here on Project Me TV on YouTube, you will see that I am picking toothpaste off my chin as I'm talking to you because that's how we roll around here. Last night, I have to share this. I have to out myself. I have a feeling everyone has at least done something like this once, and I was horrified. So I go to this annual, really large Toys for Tots charity event in Southern California. And I love pretending that I'm in some kind of a Hallmark Christmas movie. I like all the festivities. Right now, I wore this cute headband thing that I'm wearing here right now on the tuber. And I do the sparkles. I wear sparkle mascara. It's my inner child delights in it. And I wanted to have like a cute red sweater with this outfit. So I found one when I was at TJ Maxx. And I was also getting all the toys there the other night. I was telling my people in my Project Me Posse business coaching membership, oh my God, Friday's training was lit. First of all, it was so much fun, but we were discussing and I was teaching them about the 4 different buyer types and how to make sure that your content is speaking to those different buyer types so those people each feel heard and seen and understood and excited and eager to buy from you and how to do it in a simple way. But I was telling them about going to TJ Maxx and like I found Barbie stuff and it was a major score. And I was like guarding my cart because I knew that people would flip out if they saw them. And then there were some janky Barbies in there though, because like I wanted these kids to have like name brand toys, because my guess is they get a lot of crap toys. These are underserved kids that, don't get the good stuff. And wow, you know how I talk about you go to the 99-cent store, you go to some of these discount stores, and it's the land of the misfit toys, the land of the misfit products, products that didn't make it, products that didn't sell. Let me tell you, there is no little girl on the planet, quite frankly, little boy, little girl, whomever, who wants an ugly Barbie. Okay. And I'm not saying the Barbie can't be body positive Barbie and we can't have Barbie of every possible skin tone represented. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these were broke down Barbies. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, no wonder why they're still here. And I was like, I can't do it, even though it says Barbie. And I'm sure these kids would be happy to have a Barbie. I just can't give them a janky Barbie. Anyway, so I found a red sweater there I was looking for. I was like, it's TJ Maxx. It's $14.99. I go, perfect. So I have on my outfit, all of my accessories, my holiday earrings, boop, 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 boo, all my presents going to this party. There's probably, I don't know, 200, 250 people there. Mind you, this is local to my beach house. So this is in Manhattan Beach, like people I would see around town. And it was loud as hell in there, by the way. I got total sensory overload and ended up like hiding in another room with all the other people who have mental disorders. So it ended up being really fun. Like the chef for the party was also in there. Like we were the misfit toys, but we were laughing our asses off about it. It was hysterical. Like we put ourselves in like a sensory deprivation chamber in a room of the house. I was like, wow. I'm like, life is so crazy. So I made the rounds. I said hi. I knew I didn't have much left in me. Left with a friend, and we're going to go to dinner. And we're on one of the main streets here. And there's a lot of parties going on this time of year. And people here are super fun and they love dressing up. And I'll, of course, comment. There's a guy who's dressed as an elf, like Elf on a Shelf, and walking like it was normal. There was a girl at a full light up Christmas tree costume on. And then there was this girl who's dressed almost like a snow princess. I'm like, oh my God, I love your outfit. It's great. She's like, oh, thank you. I love your earrings. I love your headband. And then as I passed her, she goes, hey, sis. And I go, oh, yeah, what's up? And I was literally crossing the street. She goes, I think your tag is out. And I go, huh? She's like, on your back. And I was like, I reached behind, I felt a giant tag, like more than one. And I went, oh, wow. Okay. I go, well, thank you. Apparently, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it. And she was laughing. And I tried to play it off. First of all, I was mortified. Second of all, I'm talking not a small tag. You got the smaller TJ Maxx tag. And then there was a giant tag that had a ribbon on it where there was like a safety pin to the actual tag. So I was walking around this entire party this way. Not one person said anything, which also could mean no one noticed. And yeah, I was moderately horrified. Thankfully, she noticed that before I went into this restaurant, which is like a nicer restaurant, because then I would have been even more embarrassed. So who's done that? That was my story. I know it wasn't that dramatic, but it's that moment where you're like, oh my God, why didn't someone tell me I had spinach in my teeth? And I just did an entire presentation. Like, how did not one person who hugged me, not one person who saw me, how did no one notice this? Were these people that wasted at this party? I mean, a lot of the people were. Okay. So that was my holiday entertainment for you. We need to retrain your mental algorithm. It has gone off the rails. And in fact, you've likely never trained it in the first place. And if we don't intentionally train and set our mind, it is naturally wired to irrationally protect us from anything that's perceived as a threat, anything that's perceived as danger, anything that's perceived as potentially even embarrassing. So it will keep us from doing everything because that's its default setting. Its default setting is, unless you have some other neuroses, the default setting is not to post, is not to start the thing, is not to go after the thing, is not to ask the person, is not to send the emails, not to start the podcast. That is its default because that's one way, in a sense, you can remain safe and low risk is by never taking the risk and never doing it. But then you also end up in this self-imposed prison. You end up in this purgatory because you want all these things, yet you're not taking action towards any of them. And it is such an energy sucker. So any of you who have done any form of scrolling over on the TikTok, the reason I'm saying TikTok is because it is such a sensitive algorithm that it's the perfect comparison to what happens with our own minds. So you go on there and let's say you start looking at other people in your industry. Okay. So maybe it's other realtors or something like that. And then somehow you fall upon a makeup tutorial and then you start binging makeup tutorials. Very quickly, your feed is all makeup tutorials. It could be the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know if anyone's noticed this on TikTok or it's just because of the shit that I end up paying attention to. But the people who go live on TikTok are wild. I'm talking like people with major medical conditions that have tubes coming out of them. There's a guy who's really into doing these interesting hairstyles where the hair is wrapped around his entire head and his face, and you can barely see his eyes. I'm talking like real wild shit. Okay. There's another guy who I actually want to have on. I'm so impressed and he's filled with positivity. He has one arm, maybe one quarter of another arm and no legs, and he'll be live walking on a treadmill. Fascinating. So clearly I stop and watch it. It's very scroll stopping. And then my feed ends up being very quickly filled with like all this really wild stuff. none of really the stuff that I genuinely focus on, read, take in, right? This is what is happening with your own brain. And it is that sensitive. The bad news is you can fall off track quickly. The good news is you can get back on track really quickly. So, what we focus on grows. What we concentrate on, we end up seeing, we end up thinking, then we end up thinking more of. It truly is law of attraction. It's the mirroring. It's that whole red car theory. You're like, God, there's so many red cars. Everyone has a red car in Southern California. Everyone has a red sports car. You're going to see tons of red sports cars. Even something that simple, you need to remind yourself to prove to your mind that this is legit and it works. Even do that trick with cars. God, everyone had like my trainer will go, everyone has a damn Tesla in this town. I'm like, I hope so. I own a lot of stock in Tesla. But he says that, right? And every time he says that on my way home from training, all I see are Teslas. That's what I mean by how quickly that can change. So I need you to start telling yourself a different story. Your mental algorithm has been trained of, oh, I'm afraid I'm not going to give good value to people or they're going to think I'm lame. I'm afraid this isn't going to work. I feel like this is so hard for me. It seems easier for everyone else. It's not working for me. When it came to my Make More Work Less guided workbook video course, and those of you who've been listening a while know like how much resistance came up for me around putting out anything that could be like printed at that level. This was me doing my entryway before I actually do like my big book, like my bookie book. Or this is my bookie book, and then there'll be the big book. And if I didn't deliberately retrain my mental algorithm, that still wouldn't be out. And now there's hundreds and hundreds of people that have done this workbook course where they are over and over again. People are saying it is truly the best thing that they have ever done, course they've ever done in their lives, even courses they've spent a ton of money on. Like, listen to this. Oh my God, I'm doing the second section of the Make More Work Less workbook course. And I'm on the messaging exercise and I'm literally full blown crying while I write this stuff out. I had no idea these messages have hurt me so much. Thank you so much for creating this workbook. It's bringing a lot of hard things up for me, and I'm excited to see the changes happen. I mean, then there's another one like in my coloring era today, sometimes you need a day to color something while still propelling your business and skills forward. This workbook course is the best thing that I've bought in years. I mean, I could keep going on and on. Well, first of all, you guys need to go get it. It's a holiday flash sale right now, 57% off. So you're getting all the videos, you're getting the 70 plus page workbook that it goes with. It's designed to transform your money story in 7 days or less. And I'm going to be straight with you. First of all, this goes perfectly with what we're talking about in this episode today. But if you want to step into 2024 with a fresh money story to tell before that New Year's ball drops, then this is the time to get this and do this work. Don't wait until March of 2024 and be like, I should have done this work. Why not set yourself up to train your algorithm and fine tune it now? And this doesn't mean it has to take hours a day. You could binge this in a weekend. There's people who binge this in a day. But coupled with this episode, it is going to make a profound shift in your life. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make more work less. Swipe up the links in the show notes. It's also in the description on Project Me TV, so you can get it right there. And don't wait on that thing. The other thing that goes with this are my Season of Abundance walks, my guided walking meditation series. That is free for you. And that link is also in the show notes and in the link in bio on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. So I want you to start using the rewiring techniques and think of your brain as though it is a TikTok, an Instagram, a social media algorithm, and you're training it. What is it you want to see more of in your life? That's what I need you to focus on. Focus on the evidence of what is possible for you. Focus on the fact that every minute and every day you are working towards feeling more confident in doing this. You have a knowing that people really want to hear and see your gifts in the world, that your self-doubt is being removed minute by minute every single day, and it's being replaced with a sense of knowing, the sense of accomplishment, that you are feeling fear, but you're doing it anyway. You're showing up for the greater good. And there's so much evidence in the world of people who are in fear, who show up regardless. And then ask the universe, ask God, please help me seek and see more evidence of blank. And you can ask that every morning. You can ask that 3 times a day, but then you need to deliberately look at it. So just like on TikTok, you have to actually watch some of that video in order for the algorithm to go, oh, okay, so, Barbara or Jan, I love these random names I come up with, Tiffany, Stefan, Mark. Okay, so they watched 30 seconds of this video. So that means they really do want to see more videos like this. Oh, they've watched 5 of them. They're really into this. And then you're going to be able to see more and more of it. So you have to sink into it. So you're out to dinner and you see a couple that seems so in love and they're communicating so great. Instead of going, oh, I don't have that. I wish I had that. I feel so lonely. It's never going to happen for me. Why everyone else and not me? Instead, I want you to say, thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for showing me evidence of what's here and available and possible for me. And I truly believe I wouldn't be seeing it if I wasn't supposed to be getting this reminder that it's also equally as available for me. So start thanking the evidence that you see. And then you can say, I want to see more evidence of this. And you'll end up seeing more evidence, but you need to sink into it once you see it. You can't brush it off. It's like when I was doing the workbook thing, I ended up getting tons of stuff in my feed, like Instagram ads for other people who had workbooks. Now that could have gone sideways for me. I could have gone in, which I did for a little bit. I went into some comparisonitis about like, oh my God, this workbook is prettier. Oh my God, da 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 da. But then I flipped it where it's like, oh, you're showing this to me to show me what's available. Like people wouldn't be spending money on ads if people weren't buying this thing and people really want it. And you're showing me that that could be mine and that it's here for me and other people are doing it. And it's safe to do this. It's here for you. You're supposed to do this. You're seeing some of the stuff as a sign right now that you shouldn't do it because of how your algorithm is. You're seeing things as a sign of you can't do it, or you're not good enough, or you're not ready, or you're not qualified, or you waited too long, or you're too old, or you're too fat, or you're too much of this, or you're too little of this. I need you to flip the algorithm around and go, oh, I'm being shown this and shown this repeatedly and shown this evidence online and offline because I'm getting these clear nudges from the universe, from source saying, hello, you're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing this right now. So whatever you train that mental algorithm to see, it will see, and you can reset it at any time. Just like I could reset while we were on here. If I was like, I'm a pretty good multitasker, but if I was an expert level multitasker, I could sit here right now and start looking up anything crazy. I could go put in car mechanics or car engines or something, or even put like in the new Tesla Cybertruck. And if I start binging those videos, even if I'm watching like 10 seconds of each and I'm binging those, within not even a minute, without a doubt, my whole For You page will be like heavily 70% of Cybertruck or things that if you like the Cybertruck, you'll also like monster trucks or some other thing. Even though I was just binging shit about Kim Zolciak and that whole drama in the whole Housewives world, reality TV stuff. Even though I was just binging that before, something totally different, it can change like that. So can yours. But you have to intentionally focus on that stuff. If you want to focus on your limiting beliefs, you want to give energy to it, you want to give time to it, then you're going to get more of it. So start pulling away your time and energy from things that you don't want to see more of, that you don't want to focus on, and put more intention and energy to the things that you want to. Do that red sports car theory. Do that for your own life. So, like, it can work for your body too. It's like, I want to see evidence that I can lean out my body without having to greatly sacrifice and be super stringent with my diet, because there's this belief in there that I'm going to have to do stuff like that or go on Ozempic, which I do not want to do. Well, that's a whole episode in of itself. I do not want to do that. I do not feel that's a loving and nurturing act to my body, as I do not medically necessarily need that. Okay. But then we can go on a whole path with that, but I'm not going to. I haven't had enough coffee for an Ozempic conversation. So, in order for me to retrain the algorithm, because what happens right now, if we use this example with me, is I end up seeing examples of people online and offline who are all on Ozempic. Okay. And I live in Southern California, so it's a lot of people. I end up seeing people who like meal prep perfectly and eat boiled chicken and brown rice every day and like do hours of cardio. So then it reinforces, see, in order for me to have a body that I feel like super lean in and the body I really want, I'm going to have to do that. Well, that doesn't end well. That doesn't get me any closer to my goal. It doesn't feel good. It only beats me down because we end up beating ourselves down. So I flip the algorithm. And I've had to do this 3 times in this last week. Some things, because our algorithm was so set on the negative, on the limiting, on these stronger, catchy beliefs, and because I have been in treatment for years for exercise addiction, which is a form of an eating disorder, I have some rooted stuff there. So you're going to have to be diligent about some of those things that are really rooted in. Money is one of them, hence my Make More Work Less guided workbook video course, because I know how rooted and potent money is. So you really need to be immersed in it. And that's also why I said it's a 7-day transformation process, not minutes. So when it comes to the body stuff, now I'm going, okay, what is it I want? So ask yourself, what is it that I want and how is it I want it to come about? Right? What I want is to feel lean and fit, but without it feeling self-sacrificing, without feeling it's depriving, without it igniting my exercise addiction. I want it to feel nurturing and good to my body. And I am asking you, universe and God, to show me evidence, clear evidence and repeated evidence that this is possible for me. Because I could come up with all sorts of stories. I'm not 30 years old anymore. I have some hormonal stuff. So I could start stacking all the reasons why it's not possible for me. Let's focus on all the reasons that it is possible. And please show me evidence it's possible. And then there's an acquaintance of mine who lives here locally. I'm going to get her handle wrong. I think it's Jill Fit. We're going to do a podcast swap soon. But I think she over 40. I don't know how old she is, but she's not 25. And she's lean and she's fit. And I've seen her drinking cocktails, right? So she's an example of what's possible for me. I have a couple other friends that I have do things in a healthy way, and they seem happy and vibrant, and that it's possible for me. And then I, in turn, end up seeing evidence in myself. I wake up feeling a little leaner. I start noticing different shifts that in my body. Whereas before I wouldn't have noticed those, not because they weren't there, because I was focusing on all the shit. I was focusing on, oh, I'm still really thick in my midsection. Instead of looking, and I'm looking at myself right now as I'm recording for Project Me TV on YouTube, I'm like, oh, my face does look snatched, like my jawline, like where I'm actually noticing a difference. It's not that it wasn't there, but my algorithm was focused on all the things that were wrong with me, all the reasons I can't, all the reasons why it's not possible. Do you see what I mean by doing that flip? So I want you to practice that today. What is your red car? What is your red sports car? And you can be very specific. It doesn't even have to be as general as that. You can go into the weeds with it. What is the red car for you? And let's really set your algorithm just as you would train your TikTok. And maybe you need to go on TikTok. You can try it with Instagram. It's not as sensitive, so it might take a little longer to train that algorithm. But go on there and even mess with it, right? Like even kind of start typing stuff in and watching stuff and going, "Oh my God, it does happen that quickly." Maybe you even need to see that evidence with this example and then go get the damn workbook course. It's a great gift to give to someone, to do it with someone over this time of year, the season of abundance. And that's why I'm giving it to you at 57% off. I can't tell you enough good things. You can go look at the highlight section on my Instagram at Project Me TV, and you will see hundreds and hundreds of people and the stuff that they've written in detail of what has absolutely shifted in their life monetarily, energetically, spiritually, even physically. Now they've actually taken action when they've been stuck in inaction, or they've been in a pattern of going all in, foot on the gas, foot off the gas, foot on the gas, foot off the gas, which is exhausting. And that pattern is stopped. And they're like, oh my God, nothing has worked. I've even been in therapy for years and nothing has worked. And this has worked. You'll see. Or you could continue messing around where you're at right now in this self-proclaimed purgatory, which I know you really don't want to be in, and we don't want to carry that shit into 2024. So let's not. We're not doing it. Let's leave behind this stuff, this negative, this limiting, this fear-based algorithm in 2023. There's enough fear and negativity in the world. Why do we need to have that running in our own mind, in our own internal nervous system, and breaking us down more and exhausting us more? Go into the abundance zone. Bring into 2024 and set yourself up to where this is your most abundance year yet, and you have total, absolute control over this thing. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you.